to another episode of Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. And we're going to get right into it. So, I'm about to make my fellow Cowboy fans out there really happy, okay? Because guess what we're talking about this episode? The Dallas Cowboys, okay? And I want to start with Jimmy Johnson, okay? So everybody remembers 1-15 in '89. Everybody remembers them going to the playoffs in '91. But very few Cowboy fans, I feel, are people in general, are just football fans in general, okay? They don't remember 1990, okay? They don't remember 1990, okay? And it started back in 1988 when storm clouds were on the horizon that whole season. And then it was a severe thunderstorm warning in Dallas. And then the severe thunderstorm came. Tom Landry got fired. Tex Schramm got kicked out by Jerry Jones. And the Dallas Cowboys were going into a new era. Now, I was only 4 years old in 1989, okay? So, but I've read all about the '89 Cowboys. I've seen the footage. I've read the books. So, the Cowboys' only victory of the season, a 13-3 win over the Washington Redskins. Steve Walsh was the quarterback, okay? Steve Walsh was the quarterback. And he completed 10 of 30 passes that game. Steve Walsh completed 10 of 30 passes that game. Believe it or not. So yeah. And the Cowboys had a running back by the name of Paul Palmer. Rushed for over 100 yards. For all my fellow Cowboy fans who don't know, only diehard Cowboy fans or Cowboy junkies will know who Paul Palmer is. Played running back, wore number 26 in 1989 for us. Yeah, you had guys like Paul Palmer, Steve Walsh. Of course, you had Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, towards the ACL against the 49ers that year. Yeah, it was a stormy in Dallas in '89. Then 1990 came. Then 1990 came about. Now you got to remember, I remember reading Jeff Pearlman's book, Boys Will Be Boys, and you had certain players on the roster that were called blah nobodies, okay? You had guys like Manny Hendricks, Danny Noonan, James Dixon, Dean Hamill. Then, of course, you have the sort of known players: Ray Horton, James Washington, Isaac Holt. Of course, you had Emmett, Michael, Troy. You had the rookies, Jimmy Jones was a newcomer. Jay Novacek. The Cowboys acquired tight end Rob Awalt from the Cardinals. Now you gotta remember something. Jay Novacek, before he came, never exceeded 38 catches in a year. Okay? He never exceeded 38 catches in a year with the then St. Louis Cardinals, who had recently moved to Phoenix. Okay? And so the Dallas Cowboys were the only team to offer him a contract in 1990. And it worked out pretty good. Because that first year he had 59 catches his first year. Had 59 catches his first year. So it worked out pretty well. Not just for that year, but in the following years as well. So 1990, the Cowboys finished 7-9. They defeated San Diego their first game. Then the Giants, who were a much better team, defeated them 28-7. 28-7. They lost a close game to the Washington Redskins. Now the Washington Commanders. Then lost again to the Giants. And they defeated Tampa Bay. I believe they were 2-3 at the time. Then got beat by the Arizona Cardinals, who were a joke in the league at that time. Then they had a rematch with Tampa Bay, Week 7, and won the game on Isaac Holt's. Well, Isaac Holt had a pick 6 for a touchdown, but the game winner came from Aikman to Irvin, touchdown pass. Okay. So that was the game winner. And so then we returned home to face the Philadelphia Bluebirds. Notice I said Bluebirds. So we played the Philadelphia Bluebirds the next week. And we lost a very narrow game. Isaac Holt blocked a punt that game. Unfortunately, Randall Cunningham threw a game-winning touchdown pass to Calvin Williams. So, and then we got our butts kicked by the Jets and the 49ers. And then we were 3-7. Okay. And so we just so happened to run into the Rams the very next week. And that's when Troy Aikman started to become Troy Aikman. If you talk to Troy Aikman, he will tell you that in 1990 he was very miserable in 1990 because the offense was not further along. And they weren't using Emmitt Smith, who was a rookie. They weren't using Emmitt Smith as much. Now, people may not know this. Cowboy fans, too. People may not know this. But Emmitt Smith was not the immediate starter in 1990. Okay? Emmitt Smith was not the immediate starter. Actually, Timmy Smith, yes, the same Timmy Smith who rushed for 200 plus yards in the Super Bowl, that Timmy Smith. He was actually behind Timmy Smith and Tommy Agee, believe it or not, okay? Yes, he was behind Timmy Smith, who got cut after the first game, I believe. Then after Timmy Smith got cut, he was behind Tommy Agee. So He was not the immediate starter. It took him a few games, okay? But he eventually became the starter, okay? And so that Rams game, Aikman became Aikman. Aikman started to become Aikman. And we had an offensive coordinator by the name of David Schuler, who I bet if you talk to Aikman, Smith, and Irvin, and other offensive Cowboy players back then, really didn't know what he was doing, okay? And I would encourage you to go read Jeff Pearlman's book, because it describes exactly who David Schuler is. Oh, David Schuler. Anyway, but we won the Rams game, defeated the Redskins. Then we actually trailed to New Orleans Saints 10-0. Then we outscored them 27-7 in the second half. Then the Cardinals, who were a joke at that time, we beat them 41-10. And so we won 4 straight games. Okay? And we were this close to making the playoffs. And then we played the Philadelphia Bluebirds. Troy Aikman got injured in that game. And Aikman got injured. Eagles beat us pretty easily because we had Babe Laufenberg in. For all those diehard and Cowboy junkie fans, you remember Babe Laufenberg. But we could still get in. He'll get in. When we played the Atlanta Falcons. Notice I said Atlanta Falcons. I'm just clowning. I don't know, y'all. I'm just clowning. Anyway, so we still had a chance to get hit in. We lost to Atlanta, but still had a chance, believe it or not. We finished the season 7-9. We could still get in if the Rams could beat the Saints the final game of the year. The Rams lost by 3 points. And so we did not get hit in. But it was still cloudy in 1990. So the storm was calming in 1990. Emmitt Smith had rushed for 937 yards. Rookie of the year. Offensive rookie of the year. 937 yards. And I believe he had 4 100-yard games that year. Yeah. And Jimmy Johnson was named coach of the year. The only coach to win coach of the year with a losing record. Just like Jerry West was named MVP of the '69 finals, although he was on the losing team. Michael Irvin really didn't have that great of a year. And you got to remember something. He was inconsistent and injured his first 3 years. And not many people know this, but David Schuler was actually encouraging Jimmy Johnson to trade Irvin. Believe it. Go read Jeff Pearlman's book. David Schuler, there were also other people in the Cowboy organization who thought that Irvin wasn't going to be that great. And he missed the first 4 games of 1990. Michael Irvin missed the first 4 games of 1990. And missed the first 4 games, came back, and he had only, I believe, 20 catches after that. He had 20 catches for the season. And he only had like 420 yards. And 415 yards, yeah, 415 yards. 20 catches for 415 yards. And he was nearly cut. Believe it or not, but Jimmy Johnson had final say over that roster. And Jimmy Johnson didn't do it. And so, I believe it was around 1989 or 90, where Jimmy Johnson thought about trading Michael Irvin, until he was talked out of it, ironically, by none other than Al Davis. Okay. And Jimmy Johnson flirted with that. And this was around the time where they did a great train robbery, Walker trade. And then Al Davis was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure about that? Are you sure you want to trade Michael Irvin? Who's going to catch passes for you?" Jimmy didn't do it. But anyway, so not many Cowboy fans remember the cloudy 1990 season. Then in 1991, it was partly sunny. Then after 1991, it was pretty much mostly sunny for the next 4 years. So yeah, 4 or 5 years. So yeah. All right. That's everything. Hope everyone out there has a restful, peaceful, tranquil weekend. This has been Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am out of here. I'm going, y'all. Peace out.